School Board of Trustees, subject to the open meeting law, is being recorded in accordance with sections 2-2-301, 2-3-202, 2-3-203, and 2-3-214 Montana Code annotated. All members of the board, staff, and public in attendance are advised that the public portions of this meeting will be recorded in both an audio and video format. Cameras and recording devices are placed throughout the meeting room to complete these recordings. Everyone in attendance is reminded to honor basic rules of decorum during the meeting and guidance associated with providing public comment as stated in policy 1420F. By remaining in the meeting, those present consent to being recorded and displayed in the footage that will be posted on the school district's website. Welcome everybody. There'll be an opportunity for community comments on non-agenda items at the end. So, should we start with student council?
Yeah.
Okay, student council.
So I'm Graydon Sukit, this year's student council rep to the board, and this is the third quarter report. So the boys basketball team, well, kind of winter activity just finished up. So this season, the boys basketball team, they had a tough season. New coach, not a lot of varsity experience. So, however, we were able to compete with some of the best teams in our conferences and even pull off a few wins in those close games. As a team, we improved each week and we got better every day. And the future looks bright for the boys program, and we're hoping to get more people to keep coming out and put in more time in the off seasons. For the girls basketball team, they had a great season with lots of growth and improvement. After losing 3 starters last season, there were a lot of young players who stepped up and into some big roles this year. The team also brought up 10 8th graders who made noticeable contributions to all 3 teams all season. The girls headed to divisionals after beating Glendive in the playing game once again. They played Billings Central and East Helena, and they put up close games with both teams, but sadly ended their season at the tournament. The girls are looking forward to getting back in the gym very soon and having a great off season to make sure the next season is even better. They have lots of young talent coming back and have more confidence than ever and are excited for the upcoming years. Wrestling team this year, the season went very well for them. They started out by winning the Eagle Invitational as a dual team, which they hadn't done in a couple of years, and then the team went to the Pat Weedy Memorial Tournament and took second. Then they had a few tough tournaments and did very well, getting many placers, and also went to the Bismarck Rotary, and they were able to win that tournament as well. The team won Class A duels and then went to divisionals, taking first at both of those. And then finally the team headed to state and brought home first place, having one state champion, sophomore Aaron Schmitz, and state runner-ups were Brenner Mullen, Eli Lonsky, Brody Kaiser, and Ty Skeppens. The team had a really good year overall and are hoping to get another banner put up next year. So the cheer and drill team actually combined this winter. Cheer was on, and then they were at every basketball game, kind of on the baseline, and then they would also perform at halftime. They traveled to divisionals with the girls basketball team, which is a great opportunity for them to show off their work they put in. And they continued to compete at the Cheer Fest, where the cheer team took second place and the drill team took first. They had a very successful season, and the team was very grateful for all of their supporters. So the band, the past quarter, the band has primarily been preparing for the District 11 Music Festival that took place this past weekend in Glendive. And at the festival, the band performed 2 pieces for judges to score and sight read a piece for them to score as well. This year, the band brought 30 ensembles and solos to the music festival, including the jazz band and a jazz band choir collaboration piece. All performances that received a superior score will participate in the state band the weekend of May 1st and 2nd. The band also has been preparing for their final spring concert, which will be held on April 20th at 7 p.m. And after their concert, the band will focus on getting ready to march and perform at Band Day in Williston on the 9th and a graduation. The jazz band is continuing to practice as well and will have its final spring jazz concert on May 18th at 7 p.m. Speech, drama, and debate. They took 3rd place at divisionals and 6th at state. This is actually a big accomplishment for the size of their team this year. The students had a fantastic year, and the debaters were also very good at state, with Ivy Cross taking a 1st place finish in Lincoln Douglas debate, and then William Brinker brought home a 2nd place finish in humorous solo for the drama team. They had many placings at state, and field this year was very successful. However, they are losing a large percentage of seniors, so we'll be heavily recruiting for some kids next year. And the drama club, the drama department, has produced 2 plays this year. There was one in the fall called Just Another High School Play. It was just kind of a comedy about high school plays and how they ran. And then the spring play will be presented this weekend on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. That play is called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And so far this year has been great for them, and they look forward to the community to support them this upcoming weekend. For baseball this year, the team has competed in 4 total games, unfortunately not finding much success on the scoreboard. They have 2 big conference games this weekend against Shepherd and Billings Central. Unlike other years, the weather this spring has been way nicer in comparison, so they've gotten a head start on being outside, which has been able to help them compete more. Also new this year is the conference realignments, so they only play Class A teams and lower instead of competing against the AA schools. So this lessens the number of games for them and also helps with their pitching rotations. The track season has started off well, as they've only competed in a few meets. The weather has been nice, and they've had a bunch of people already PRing and pre-qualifying for state. Looks like it's going to be a big season for the team, as they've already had 4 state qualifiers, and they had 1 this past weekend and Saturday. And so we also had senior Morgan Kindop break the school record in the pole vault with a jump of 12 foot 6 inches. And we're hoping to keep competing each week and bring home some hardware this year. We will travel to Wofford tomorrow to the early bird invite, and then Fairview on Friday. So for the softball team this year, they started with the Jamboree in Billings that helped them kind of get the feel for competition and play some teams that they might possibly play later down the road this season. The team went 2-2. They started their first regular season game against Glasgow, where they fought hard but ended up losing 5-7. Their home opener against Glendive could have gone a lot better. They said they were slow on the bats, and Glendive was hitting it well, resulting in a loss for them. The next day they played Havre, where they started off very strong, hitting it well, and the defense was playing well, but one of their players got injured, and things started to kind of go downhill for them. So Havre took advantage of this and able to get a lead on them, and they ended up losing. So they're very confident in how their season will look for the rest of the year, and they just have to improve on a couple things, and once they put it all together, it will look good. For some clubs, so we have chess club that came back this year, or this semester, I guess. So they meet every Thursday at lunch, and at this point they have a number of different grade levels represented, and it seems like there's growing interest in the freshman class. Each Thursday, students challenge each other to games of chess, but other students watch and help out if needed. This way, novice players begin learning the thought process behind certain moves and strategies, and then the more advanced students can kind of help them out. So for Leo Club, the Pop Tab fundraiser with the Lions Club is going really well. The elementary schools especially have brought in and contributed a ton of Pop Tabs. The fundraiser will be over in a few weeks, and winning classes will get rewards for their efforts. They plan to plant a tree for highway cleanup soon, along with the Lions track meet coming up, which all of Leo Club will help set up and run. Overall, the club has done very well this past quarter. For Key Club, has had a super great year and has had many activities planned to finish it out strong. They're currently at 793 hours at the end of March, which is already up over 100 hours from the total hours last year. Recently, 10 members attended the district convention in Billings, where they learned about how to run a more successful club and participate in service projects, and they won a bunch of awards. Our members helped make over 500 sandwiches for the Salvation Army and won 11 patches for the Key Club banner. These patches included the best scrapbook and digital poster, and our members won many individual awards as well. Most notably, seniors Morgan Kindop and Ave Norby both won different awards, recognizing them as the most outstanding Key Club members in Montana District of Key Club, which was really awesome to see. The club is having a Kiss a Senior Goodbye fundraiser where they'll be selling roses out of Hershey Kisses and people to buy for certain seniors. They're also planning to make May Day baskets with the Boys and Girls Club K-Kids and deliver them to the nursing home on May Day. APC, American Politics Club, they did very well this quarter. They have reached a few attendance records, filling Mr. Falber's classroom way past its actual limit 2 or 3 times. They were starting to kind of struggle a little bit to get people to show up, but they had a bunch of freshmen that were able to start coming, so they are hoping to be able to keep continuing to have the club next year and want to see more upperclassmen start to attend the meetings to keep it running. So some of the big topics that they discussed were about trans athletes, the conflicts with Iran, and then Trump, so like including some of the things he's done and said, and then they've also talked about ICE and the Minnesota conflicts. They have elections coming up on April 21st, so we're hoping to get some younger members to come and fill the vacating seniors positions. They say overall it's been a great couple past months, and they can't wait to see how the end of the year progresses. So close up, we just held our annual staff versus senior basketball game where the staff won and was able to keep their team undefeated. Mr. Coriel didn't help that much, but a few dunk attempts from Mr. Dennison kind of helped that too. And so after that game, they plan to try to get fundraisers and sponsorships from some businesses around town, where they will travel to DC on May 31st through June 6th, and then we'll report to API on how they did. The International Club at SHS had a productive third quarter with the following guest presenters. So on January 19th, Marta Rakina presented on her home country of Ukraine. On February 9th, Ivy Cross presented on her experience as a foreign exchange student in the country of Kazakhstan. And then on March 9th, Mrs. May Ann Steinbacher presented on the Philippines. For academic Olympics, the academic Olympics team practiced every Thursday for about 2 months in preparation for their annual competition in Glasgow. At the end of the competition, the kids took 4 math tests in science, or they took 4 tests in math, science, reading, and history. And then after that, they had an oral quiz bowl round. The team did very well at the competition with 5 individuals earning at least 1 ribbon in one of the tests, and Sidney won a trophy for scoring the most combined points in the test, and senior Audrey Oprico won top senior. FCCLA had a very busy but successful past quarter and just finished their new officer elections to start preparing for next year. Earlier this year, during the Brawl of the East basketball game, FCCLA had a safe driving activity and booth for students. They had an obstacle course that the students went through with drone goggles on to simulate driving under the influence. They informed the students on a bunch of safe driving tips and statistics. More recently, they put on an Easter egg hunt fundraiser where families could sign up to have their front lawns filled with Easter eggs the night before Easter. And the members really enjoyed doing this, and the feedback from the families was great. Another great event FCCLA put on was just this past Friday. They held a Free Will Friday at their coffee shop in our high school, where they gave out free Italian sodas to any student for free will donation, and all donations went to the Boys and Girls Club. FFA just had their state convention in Great Falls, Montana on March 31st through April 4th. The Sidney chapter took 14 members to the convention, and they competed in 7 competitions. Teams competed in egg sales, agronomy, horticulture, poultry judging, livestock judging, and farm business management. They also took 2 individuals in employment skills. On the first day, in employment skills and egg sales competed. In employment skills, Evelyn Gonzalez placed 12th and Danica Janelle placed 13th. They each completed a resume, cover letter, and did an in-person interview, among other steps involved in a job hiring process. The egg sales team placed 39th, and they had to give a sales pitch on a greenhouse. And then on the second day, Wednesday, the farm and business management team and the poultry judging team competed. The farm and business management placed 14th, with Maddie Schieber ranking highest at 28th place individually. And then they had to do a team problem about making financial decisions on a farm, and then took a test individually. The poultry judging team placed 20th, and they evaluated chickens, eggs, and meat. And this is a new contest for them, so it was kind of fun. On Thursday, they competed in floriculture, livestock evaluation, and agronomy. The floriculture was their highest ranking team at 12th place. They made a sales display, created various floral arrangements, and completed general knowledge tests. The highest ranking member on the team was Danica Janelle, who placed 19th. The livestock judging team evaluated various types of livestock and gave oral reasons. They placed 15th as a team, with Maddie Schieber leading the team in 11th place individually. And then lastly, the agronomy team identified weeds and crops and displayed their knowledge of soil and general agronomy questions. This team placed 16th, with Danica Janelle leading the team in 23rd place individually. Members spent a lot of time preparing beforehand and are happy with their results and their hard work, and they also attended the general session each night and received recognition as a superior chapter in the bronze category. National Honor Society, NHS, meets every morning on the first. You meet on the first Tuesday of every month, and they will host their induction ceremony sometime in May for the students getting inducted into the National Honor Society, and that will pretty much wrap up their year. For Talent Times, they just put out their third quarter paper featuring articles about the Winter Spirit Week, prom, and other topics, and they'll start working on the fourth quarter paper soon, and will also be selecting officers for next year soon. The Talent Times is doing well, and they're going to keep looking for ways to improve and grow it. Our esports team competed in their state championship at the University of Montana on March 28th and March 29th. The Rocket League team finished 4th. They took Hardin in the consolation match to the limit of 5 sets. During those 5 sets, they went to overtime 3 times. It was an extremely close loss. The Super Smash team capped off an undefeated season with the state championship. They dropped 1 map the entire season, and it happened in the state finals. Dropping a map is like losing a set in volleyball, per Mr. Bannock. The Overwatch team continued their undefeated season with the state championship. This capped off a perfect season for them. They did not drop a single map the entire season. This is equivalent to not dropping a single set of volleyball for the entire season. During the state tournament, they dominated the competition in a way that is equivalent to having a running clock in basketball for every game. Both Overwatch and Super Smash are back-to-back state champions. And lastly, Student Council, we had a busy second half of the year. We decided to host a Christmas assembly this year on the last day before break, which was a huge hit, and the students want to keep continuing that tradition. The council also decided to host a Winter Spirit Week this year in hopes of bringing some more homecoming-like spirit to the school during the long winter months after break. They had dress-up days, a school-wide rock, paper, scissors battle, a pep assembly, a toddler teacher guessing game, and a scavenger hunt throughout the school. Recently, they have been looking through the handbook and addressing any changes they or the student body think it may need. The council sent out an end of the first semester climate survey to gain some feedback on what the actual students think or would want to improve. And they've been looking through and addressing some of those issues as well. Most notably, the council is looking at adding an AI policy to the handbook. They have been reviewing other policies to try to model. By the end of the year, they are hoping to finish this policy, making a final order on the new school branding, and hopefully hosting an end of the year activity for the student body to finish off the year. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I think this month, given that we had the student council report, I'll let you read through the individual building reports that they gave. Honestly, March, not to say there isn't a lot going on all the time, but there wasn't quite as much as you kind of look through some of those. Superintendent report, you can see the enrollment starting on page 8. Obviously, enrollment is continuing our downward trend. Most concerning, I would say, looking at your high school, as that starts to, you start to look at your thresholds for classifications. You really don't want to get too close to 300, because then you might start looking at the potential of moving to Class B. So I think we're going to have to continue to try to look at, really it's going to have to be some sort of a legislative push where there's going to have to be some type of accountability for homeschool students in order to try to get those to flip. Because right now, if there's no accountability for those, it's like, if they're having a tough time in school, let's just go that route. Not to say that's the only reason that we're losing students, but I do think the more that people are looking into it, that's becoming a very common trend and likely contributing to the numbers that we're seeing there.
Those 3 from the high school were anticipated losses, do you think? I mean, I know we talked about last meeting that there were 5 that were kind of.
I have to look and see which ones that were reported from last, but potentially, we've had a few that have been kind of unique situations in terms of family dynamic stuff. So at least 2 of those, and I'd have to see what the other one is from the last time we reported.
Is one of them from Alt-Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, calendar of events, there's a ton of things that go on in here, and these things change a lot in the spring, obviously, because most of what you're looking at is dependent on the weather. Strategic plan, graduate profile, OPI accreditation, professional development plan, Indian Ed for All. All those items were discussed the week we had a meeting on Tuesday, April 1st. LMC met on Wednesday, April 1st. There was a couple topics that were brought up. One was the lack of custodians at the middle school, and starting to kind of see, I mean, and we saw that last year with Central when we were short custodians. You do start to see areas that don't get as much attention as they're used to, so that did get brought up. Ultimately, the issue you run into is we don't have any candidates for the jobs either. So there's certain things that we're trying to do. We've tried to go like with hiring students. Sometimes you have luck with that, sometimes it doesn't work out the best, but that's, if we have students that are interested, we definitely try to utilize them as well. Most of the time when you have students, you have to have an adult with them. Not always, but a lot of the times, because they're not always super independent, so. But yeah, we're continuing to look at, and we're getting a couple applications, trying to hire people, and hopefully we find some more that way. Second issue.
Sorry, Brent, can you
Nope.
add me to the labor, I thought I was gonna be on, will you add me to that email group?
Yeah,
Thank
yep,
you.
yep. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Email list. Okay.
Thanks.
And then the second one, obviously with some of our staffing issues, really, as far as staffing goes, we're in pretty good shape, other than special education. So we are short 2 full-time special education teachers, and there was some feelings from individuals from that staff that they weren't getting support that they were hoping for. It's complicated when you look at it. A lot of the aides schedules from throughout the district were shuffled, so we could try to get aides over there to support them. We did move one aide over there full-time from another school. There's, again, when you start short-staffed in those and you don't get applicants, it makes it tough really to give them the support that they want. So hopefully we won't be in that situation. As you'll see, we did lose 3 special ed teachers for next year. We've hired 2 already, and we'll be interviewing for another one tomorrow. So, fingers crossed we're not gonna be in as quite as tough a shape to start special ed as we were last year, or this year, sorry. Buildings and grounds, Central, they did start the particle board replacement, or at least they were measuring for that, last I heard. So hopefully that gets done soon. The high school roof, so where we had the engineers come in to look for the structural damage, B&B is gonna take care of the structural damage for that. Teal Brothers will do the roof section. I'm really just waiting for numbers on those, and the thing that we're kind of up against right now is the prevailing wage for your roofers is going to increase on April 4th. So if you have the contract in place prior to April 25th. If you have the contract in place prior to that, you get grandfathered in from the previous prevailing wage. So that would actually, it will save money. Granted, it's gonna be an insurance thing because it's a carryover from our first claim, but we still wanna be fiscally responsible when it comes to that as well. Hopefully I can get something figured out with Dexter and Sean tomorrow. I talked to Sean today. I'll talk to Dexter tomorrow. Admin building, we just have the HVAC. That seems to be working pretty well here. School safety, nothing new. Threat assessments, nothing new. NEMAS met April 1st here in Sidney. There's a individual that came in from TRS. This talked about teachers' retirement. Some people, when you start looking at negotiations, some people will throw in certain things with retirement. We don't really have anything like that in our master agreement, so not a lot of new information for us there. Jeff Weldon from Fell Martin came and talked to the group about out-of-district attendance agreements and some of the rules that need to be followed based off of the off-site learning and some things that people are trying to get kind of accomplished that way. More specifically, they're running into situations where you'll have a student that does go to offsite, and we might have talked about this at our last board meeting actually, but then they want to come back and walk for graduation, so that's an ongoing, legal battle right now over on the western side of the state. Curriculum, again, discussed a lot of that at Tuesday, and all of our Tuesday admin meetings. We have those Tuesday mornings at 9. Insurance committee, Bridge is moving forward. We'll actually make some decisions on that tonight. And then district technology committee met Wednesday, March 11th to discuss various tech topics. We do have some extra security cameras. They're actually in the district. Some of them just need to be installed. And then we did talk about our annual Chromebook purchase and trying to scale that down a little bit. So I know last year, I wanna say we were like over 300 that we ordered. Looking more at like 150 this year. And what we're ordering is supposed to have a longer, life expectancy. So it used to be like 6 years or 5 years, and now they're starting to see it'll get more like 8 years. And it isn't the licensing issue anymore. Before it was like, you could have a Chromebook that worked just fine, but once the license expired, it was basically useless to the district. So we don't have that issue anymore. So hopefully we don't have to continue to make large orders for these on a yearly basis. Job openings, CTE, well, you can read through all of those. A lot of those are the same as what we have had, on previous months. Resignations, Ashley Shaw, high school special education teacher, Dina Ivy, Westside K2 teacher, Logan Adams, Westside Central School part-time custodian, Sharon Smith, Westside Title 8, Megan Savick, Central School part-time custodian, and Roger Merritt High School CTE. Okay, that's the superintendent report. Questions? Okay, meeting minutes. So there's gonna be 3 separate meeting minutes. You'll have the March meeting, and then you'll have the 2 days that you interviewed. There'll be meeting minutes for those. If you see anything on those, let me know. We'll make those changes, or note those changes and get those changed. Financial report starts on page 20 with with our investment reports. Getting into 21, that would be your, the report of the expenditures, so you can see how much we've spent under each one of those, the percentage of what we're supposed to get and what we've spent in each area. The revenue, that's what we've collected. You can see that we're still short in all of those areas as far as getting money through different funds, but those just kind of trickle in as the year goes on. Cash balances, so we have available right now on each of those. Page 24, that was the anticipated, it's the received versus anticipated. The only ones you start to look at on those that were concerning when you get into the other ones, especially on the next page, is your oil and gas is down quite a bit, which we've already discussed and talked about that, so. Okay, page 26 is your check register. And page 29 is the ASB balances. That's where those are currently at. And then we did have, it looks like a couple of transfers. So $93.25 from Central School MBI MTSS to account number 204 Middle School MBI MTSS Amazon charge was taken out of the incorrect account. Another one was a transfer of $808 from ASB account 126, which is Talon, to ASB account 123 is Athletics. Blue Rock charge was taken out of the incorrect account on that as well. Okay, starting on page 36, this is all of the certified contracts that are up for renewal this year. And then page 38, those are your extended day contracts. Page 39, I debated on where I wanted to put this because you're talking about pay scale, but this is gonna be your classified pay scale for next year. So, there it is. Why do I only have, okay. So if you look look at this historically, in 2023 and 2024, we had a significant increase to all of those. It ranged from like 13% to 19% because we wanted to be more competitive with different businesses in the community. The last couple of years, we've increased that by 25 cents each year. I think we need to look and try to continue to be competitive with those positions, as we talked about not really having a ton of applicants. My recommendation for this year would be a 50-cent increase to those. I think it puts it at $16 would be our lowest starting amount an hour. And then I would also say with that, if you look, they max out on that scale at 15 years experience. So anybody that is a classified staff member that stays in the district for longer than 15 years doesn't see an increase. So typically when we do these, I like to give them the amount that we're going to give for the rest of them. So they'll get that with those. Questions on that one? Like I said, that one I probably should have had in the discussion item, which I apologize for that.
Do you know how that compares to like what the hospital custodians and et cetera would get paid?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh,
The last time we made that increase, we actually were fairly close. I wanna say it was like within 75 cents. They seem to go up a little faster than we do. Okay, and then we also have, I have something in here on the high school academics, just how things have happened and how we can fix that. Are we ready for the consent agenda?
Yep.
All right. Approval of minutes, all recorded board meeting minutes must be reviewed and approved at the following board meetings. You review the meeting minutes, please make note of any additions or changes that need to be made. Recommend to approve the board meeting minutes for the board meetings on March 9th, 2026, March 25th, 2026, and March 26th, 2026, with any noted or necessary agreed upon changes. Warrants and claims, in accordance with board policy 7326, all financial obligations and disbursements must be properly documented. The documentation must specifically describe the goods, services acquired, and the proper budget item for appropriation. Recommend to approve all claims, payments, and cancellations as presented. ASB accounts and transfers, in accordance with board policy 7425, the board of trustees shall conduct a monthly review of ASB account balances reported by the deputy fund custodian. Recommend to approve ASB balances, transfers, payments, and voided checks as presented above. 26-27 classified staff contract. That's a list of all of the positions that you will be approving. Recommend to approve the 26-27 classified contracts as presented. Renewal extended day contracts for the 26-27 school year. Certain staff members are given extended day contracts to complete required work done outside of regularly contracted school days. An exhibit is attached above listing positions and teachers. Granted extended days to the current teacher contract. Only the contracts presented are eligible for approval at this time. I recommend to approve the 26-27 extended day contracts as presented. 2026-27 classified pay scale increase. I'm not gonna read through that because I pretty much just did. So I recommend to increase the classified pay scale by 50 cents for the 26-27 school year and offer a 50-cent increase for classified employees that are maxed out on the pay scale. High school academic stipend. So in the past, the teacher that has been in charge of NHS has also been the person that oversees the academic Olympics team. Since that changed, the NHS stipend did not change and the district did not reimburse the teacher that took on academic Olympics. Due to this oversight, I'd recommend that we split the NHS stipend this year. I don't want to split it. Because that would be more than what I think we're already talking about in negotiations. Yeah. So I would recommend that we do a 1/3 and 2/3 split of that.
Okay.
So scratch the first part of that, pretend like I didn't say that. We're gonna do 2/3 and 1/3. This will likely change next year due to negotiations. Recommend to split the NHS stipend with a 2/3 amount to NHS and a 1/3 to the academic Olympics advisor. New hires, Tom Barnhart, superintendent, 2026 through the 2028 school year. Tia Welzenbach, Central School full-time custodian. Josephine Langwald, high school special education teacher. Jacob Morgan, middle school special education teacher. Haley Christensen, high school head cheer coach. Recommend to approve the employment of the recommended hires for the corresponding school years pending reference and background check. That's the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next number of pages is basically what we have been offered through Bridge. So if you look on your agenda right now, I have Unum down a little bit lower. I combined all of these, so we don't have to, I'll be honest, this gets a little bit confusing when you start trying to look at what they're gonna offer versus what we already have. So Nikki and Tracy went through all of that to see what the benefits would be for going with the bridged option, versus keeping our own independently in those. So this is kind of how it went. If you look on 58, this is where Nikki and Tracy came up with these. And Tracy, do you have that spreadsheet that you made for me as well today? So we can kind of explain the differences. The health insurance itself, we've already accepted. So that is what it is. It went up a little bit. The FSA, so we're recommending to leave the district paid life. Well, this didn't save either.
Here, I'm printing this out.
Cause that changed. Sorry, that didn't get put into the packet, so that's not gonna make sense. Oh.
This is all done.
This is the comparison that we did for the basic life and the supplemental life and the accidental insurance. It's a lot.
So Tracy, like on page 56, this is all dental, right?
Yes,
And this is what the district currently offers versus what the bridge.
so the one that says EBMS,
Yeah,
that's what we have now. It's the $2,000,
but it's dental.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
So Bridge is offering Delta Dental and a Bridge plan,
gotcha.
and then the EBMS is what we have.
Okay.
Okay, so in looking at the top of what would be your 58, what I just gave you, so that's the coverage that the district should utilize through Bridge. This is what we're recommending. The FSA, which is the health dependent care, that's through Bridge, that's Allegiance, and then the HSA Bridged Health Insurance partner with Allegiance, so that's where those two would come from. The vision would be VSP through Bridged, and we'll go through the vision option that we should choose, and then Delta Dental what we would leave to the district is the paid life insurance supplemental life with United Heritage. Bridge has a plan with a different rate based on age. The current plan is $1.70 per person, no matter the age. So there's an age thing that changed the amounts that they would get, or they're eligible for through that. So that we would wanna keep what we're using currently with United Heritage for that. The long-term disability, keep the current plan with Unum. The new plan through Bridge has lower maximum salary than our current plan. The Bridge plan has a 10% less payout for participants, so they would be getting less on that. The voluntary benefits, which is their other supplemental that they can get, is to keep that current plan with Aflac. The employees sign up for those on their own, it's not through the district. But the cancer coverage that they can get with Aflac is not offered in the Bridge plan. So I would say we need to probably stick with Aflac on that as well. Vision option 1 is the closest that we currently have. We have to pick an option, and then the employee can choose their plan, but we have to pick the option. The vision is paid by employees as it currently is. There's a VSP buy-up plan, and that's the choice that the district should make. And then the Delta Dental through Bridge with a max benefit of $2,000 per year. This is the closest plan to what we currently offer. It's $28 more per person, but it is the closest plan that we have to offer. So the thing that we're running into right now is they sent the surveys out last week. We have to fill it out. It's not a survey. It's basically saying this is what we're signing up for, and then they're gonna start the enrollment process.
They wanna have that started in May, so they can get everything ready by July 1st.
I think today is actually the deadline. For
Yeah, they
this.
wanted this in today.
But I talked to John Doran, and he said that's fine if we have it filled out tomorrow. It's like super confusing to go through all these, and then you go back and forth to look at that, but Nikki and Tracy went through all of it, found out what is as close to what we currently have, and give our employees the best benefit out of what we're gonna be purchasing. So I guess my recommendation is to utilize Bridge for FSA, HSA, vision and dental, and keep the current district supplemental life with United Heritage, long-term disability with Unum, and voluntary benefits with Aflac.
And the, sorry, I know you said the coverage is similar to what we already have, or the same as what we already have.
In
Are
which
the
one?
employee premiums similar?
Which one?
The health.
All of them?
Oh,
For-
I
the
don't know,
health,
like
we
vision.
did that in December, and it is,
I know, but not health insurance,
Oh,
but like vision and Delta Dental.
so the vision, what we have now is on the very right-hand side, the United Heritage.
Okay.
So this is another thing where they have, the VSP plans are the first.
Yeah,
And then the other one is the same as, it's the bridge to open access.
okay.
So it's kinda like, I would compare it to what it's where you pay for it and then you get the money back.
They're like coupons.
Yeah.
So the premium is more for the buy-up VSP?
Yep, right now we pay $9.28
Okay,
and the buy-up is $12.
okay.
But you get more, like your frames, right now we get $130,
Mm-hmm,
with the buy-up is $200.
okay. Yeah. Sorry, I tried to look at that in
No,
the
it's-
packet that you sent, and it's just like, I
It's
don't
a
even
lot.
know where to
Yes,
start.
it is a ton.
And they gave us like 3 days to figure this out.
Lovely.
Yeah, we really haven't had this for very long.
Do I have a motion to approve the insurance options as presented?
Yeah, I'll move.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
David?
Oh, yeah, David probably abstained.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, winter coaching contracts, I'll let Ms. Koppel come up and talk a little bit on these. Page 59 just has the varsity coaches for those.
Okay, I'm gonna start with cheer and dance. We had some flexible things that happened during the fall to winter transition for cheer, and I think that the girls and coaches really worked well together and did a nice job. We ended up with 3 cheerleaders out, and then we had 5 dancers out for the winter season, where our Grain did an excellent job of recapping everything. Our cheer team went to Cheer Fest and took first. Our dance team, cheer took second. Dance took first. Our dance team, I also want to just throw out there that they were asked by Dawson Community Colleges and other places to go and perform separately, and so I think our dance team has really represented well. Unfortunately, neither of our coaches for cheer or dance will be returning next year. Cheer was an interim position until the end of the winter season, and she's got school to go to, so she will not be able to apply for the cheer position, but I do believe that we have another applicant that will do an excellent job, and then dance is currently open as Wesley is not going to return next year. So overall, I think they did an excellent job, and they've done a really nice job over the past several years, we're looking for some new dance coaches. Boys basketball, I'm going to start with that next. Our participants, we had 24 7th and 8th graders, and then 8 9th graders, 7 sophomores, 6 juniors, and 3 seniors this season. After the season was over, I put out a student survey to our high school and our 8th grade students that may have participated. And some of the things that came back, these were anonymous, so I don't take everything at full value, but really it was positive and hopeful and just looking for things to go well and continue to go well. So some of the feedback that I got was that the morale was noticeably higher this season. They enjoyed learning from and getting to know their new coaching staff, and student athletes reported that they felt like they improved, and overall their team just was able to have some more chemistry this season. Struggles from this season were the lopsided record that we had in boys basketball, 3-16 this year, and then also having to regroup when some personnel changes happened about a third way into the season. That was a little bump in the road. But again, the overall feedback was hopeful and optimistic. As things move forward, they really have positive things to say about Coach Robinson, which I think is exciting. Some things to work on were some more off-season opportunities and open gyms so returning players can further develop and build on the fundamentals that they thought they grew on it this year. The coaching staff is planning several off-season opportunities, including a camp and then open gyms throughout the summer and the spring, and so I think that's going to give players an opportunity to grow. And Randy seems really enthusiastic and he has good plans to move forward with the program. I think they're well thought out and seems like things are moving in a really positive direction, and I would recommend the high school boys staff for rehire. We move on to girls basketball. We had 28 middle school students, 11 8th graders, and 10 of them moved up and participated in high school basketball this year. 8 freshmen, 6 sophomores, 3 juniors, and 2 seniors. Feedback from students in the survey for girls basketball, they had really positive leadership from team members for the most part in this season. They praised the relationships with the captains and the upperclassmen, and how they were really encouraging to the underclassmen, especially with so many underclassmen, so that was fantastic. The Lady Eagles went 8-13 this season and won a play-in games, competed at divisionals, and I thought one of the things that I really thought was a highlight was the way that they participated and competed against Billings Central the first round of the divisional tournament from the previous Billings Central going there, and it just, the improvement from the regular season to the postseason I thought was dramatic, and I was really pleased with that, and I think the girls were, and the coaching staff probably was as well. One of the struggles that was noted was just communication for playing time, practice times, and leave times, and maybe when the players would be playing multiple teams, knowing when they would be picked up for C squad or JV and how many quarters they would get prior to when they were being told. They would like some opportunities for constructive feedback during competitions so they can get real-time instruction. And then for team goals, they would also like to continue to have open gyms and weight room opportunities to keep improving their skills. Similarly, the high school staff for the girls is going to be hosting a basketball camp, and they have open gyms planned. There's lots of opportunities for the girls to get in the gym and keep working and getting better. And the girls staff is also recommended for rehire. If you guys have any questions, you can stop me. Move on to speech and drama. We had 1 8th grader, 3 9th graders, 5 sophomores, 3 juniors, and 8 seniors. So this was, in comparison to the other teams, really upperclassmen heavy, and everything else has been really young. They took third place at divisionals and had one state champion, Ivy Cross, in the Lincoln Douglas debate, which is fantastic. They really praised team morale and team camaraderie and having a good balance of fun and still knowing how to get in and practice for performances and compete. Struggles for the season reported in the survey that the speech and drama team got were maintaining balance between school and work, and then practice for meets. And some students at the beginning of the speech and drama season were also still involved in fall sports because there's some crossover between the two, and so that balance there was still tricky for people as well. They would like some communication improved moving forward, and I think that probably communication across the board always is something that we're working on. Team goals for the off season, they'd like to continue to work on communication and the expectations of everyone just moving forward, making sure that the underclassmen and the kids that maybe do not know as much about speech and drama are as well informed as some of the older kids that have been involved longer. High school staff for speech and drama is going to be shifting just a little. Gail Staphenson and Cherie Slade are going to switch positions, and so Gail has been recommended to transfer to the assistant coach, and Cherise has been recommended to switch to the high school head coach in conjunction with Warren Clark, so the three of them would still be on staff in speech and drama, just in separate capacities, except for Warren comes back in the same capacity. And I would recommend all of them for hiring those positions. And finally, wrestling. We had 15 6th and 7th graders out for wrestling, 5 8th graders, 11 freshmen, 9 sophomores, 7 juniors, and 3 seniors. So positives from the season, duals champs, they were the state duals, the age duals champs, and then also divisional champ, and also state champs. So I think collectively the wrestling season went really, really well. Looking at their duals overall, they were 26-2, and the only 2 losses they had in duals were to out-of-state teams, North Dakota and South Dakota. So we didn't lose a dual to anybody in Montana this year. The students reported high morale, good leadership from coaches and from student athletes. And team members also said they were glad to have a female coach to work with because we have had more females out this year. So that was a positive thing to see, because I know that we added her later, and that she had really positive feedback from some of the athletes. Struggles for the season, and I don't really know that this is a struggle. Some people said that the conditioning was hard, but they said that it was still worth it. They were like, oh, conditioning, whoa, what a drag, but so glad that we did it, because I think the grind was mentioned a whole bunch of times, and our wrestlers definitely know how to grind it out. So there weren't really any major red flag struggles that I saw at all. Goals for the off season, they want to keep working on where they left off. They have high expectations for next year. Right now, out of the 18 people that went to state, 17 of them are returners. And so I think that bodes really well for Eagle Wrestling. I think that the coaching staff did a tremendous job. One of my favorite parts of seeing the wrestling coaches this year was seeing the interaction with some of the players, or some of the, wrestling duelers that are not, maybe they need wrestling more than wrestling need them. And, I say that loosely because sports and activities, we would like all the people involved that we can, but seeing some of the relationships and seeing how they interacted with some students that really struggled, and I've seen them struggle in a different setting, was phenomenal, and I think that that's really what athletics is about, so I just wanted to highlight that as well, and I would recommend all of our wrestling coaches back with your approval. Any questions?
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll basically have 3 of them, and then I will send the transfer for Slade, for Cherise, for those 2 to flip-flop. So, boys basketball, I'm gonna read this once, if I do, and then I'll just give my recommendations for the others. So each year, the Sidney Activities Director has 2 formal meetings with the varsity coaches. Each activity offered by Sidney Public Schools. The preseason meetings are held to discuss goals and expectations for the upcoming season. Postseason meetings held to discuss the goals from the first meeting and the off-season plan for each activity. These meetings lay out plans for improving the program and what potential changes will be implemented in order to move the program in a direction that will be positive for all students participating. Along with these meetings, a yearly evaluation of each varsity coach is conducted to determine the desire of the district for each program. This evaluation tool has been significantly modified over the past few years as the district has transitioned to Rocky Mountain Evaluation Tool. However, this evaluation tool is available upon request. Recommendations, so based upon the recommendation of Ms. Koppel and the evaluation process, I recommend the rehire of Randy Robinson for the 26-27 basketball season.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Randy?
Aye.
Dave? have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Girls basketball coach, I do not give a recommendation on this, obviously. We can have a discussion, you can handle this however you want, or make a recommendation, that's totally up to you.
Do I have a motion to recommend the rehire of Brent Sukic for the 26-27 girls basketball season?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. We will skip the Unum because that's already been done, so on to the speech pathologist contract. So the current contract for Madison, she's our speech pathologist for the district. It's 168 days, and she's expressed that it's not enough time to complete all the duties that she has to do for the district. She expressed that she has to work a number of Fridays and work on weekends to ensure that she's ready for all the testing she has to do and make sure weekly lessons are created for all students receiving speech services in the district. Ms. Munson, do you know about how many students we have in speech in the district?
Oh, 80-ish?
Yeah, so she ends up doing all of the work for all of those IEPs on a yearly basis. That's, I mean, in addition to our.
And I can vouch for the weekends and nights because she emails me and I answer her, so we
So-
definitely have the flow going during those times.
So I'm recommending that we increase her contract days by 20. So that would account for the number of the additional time that she has. I would recommend 10 of the days be an extended contract, so that would give her 5 after the school year is over and 5 to start the school year. So that's basically my recommendation is to approve the additional 10 days and 10 extended days to the speech pathologist contract.
Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, land transfer request, so we did receive the official paperwork from Mr. Clark. Savage went through their board meeting last month to request this land transfer. If you remember right, they own the high school district portion for the land, and we own the elementary portion for the land. So I ran some numbers on this, so you're looking at approximately $1,200 per year for the taxes that we would receive for that land. So right now, between the families, they have 5 elementary age students, and the Savage were to charge us tuition, which they're supposed to do. To attend Savage, the total amount the district would lose in tuition would be $33,455 per year. There's an additional 2 children that are not school aged yet that will also be attending Savage School. So you're looking at probably having, and let's say there's only 2, you're still gonna lose about $12,000 a year while all these kids are in elementary school. Like the $1,200 that we get in those years is not even close to making up for what we're losing. So it's not a ton of land. I think it came out to 80 acres, something along those lines. I looked at that.
Yeah,
It's 80 and a half acres. I would recommend just transferring the land to them and not fighting it. The other thing that you run into with these is you end up with legal fees because you have to hire a lawyer to plead your case as to why you should keep the land. And I mean, it's one of those things like if you had 80 acres and there was an oil well on it, that might change things a little bit, but that's not necessarily the case here. So I think it would be wise to just give them the land. So, recommendation is to accept the request to transfer the listed land from the Sidney Elementary District to the Savage Elementary District. And I have it specifically in there, the listed land, so they can't come back and say it was more than what was on there.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, coordinator position, just because we don't necessarily know how we're going to fill that next year. There's a chance that we might utilize our building principals to be our Title IX coordinators, just because of their experience in working with those investigations. And I also left off middle school, activity director, and I added the high school academics. So those are likely gonna be added through negotiations anyway. So I recommend to approve the advisors listed for the 26-27 school year.
Okay, do you have a motion?
I'll move.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Randy? David? Guess I don't care about those. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. We're gathering information on this next one, but I do think that we probably have about enough to make the decision on school lunches. With the rise in the cost of food and goods that we order through food service, that account is not sitting in great shape. So, we haven't raised these in a long time. We talked about doing this, I think 2 years ago, and we decided to leave them. So we reached out to some other schools to see where their fees were at. And I did look it up. They range from about $3 to $3.85. Some are more than that, some are less than that. The main one to me is lunch. So if you look at SCOBY, right now we charge $3.15. Is that right?
$2.60 or $3.
Right now, for lunches, right here we are.
We're $3.
Yeah.
Sorry. So for 6 through
What do
12
you need
is
now?
6 through 12 is $3, and K through 5 is $2.60. So looking at these, SCOBY's $3.50 for the older students and for the younger students. Circle's $3, $2.75. Fairview's $2.50 and $2.50. Glasgow's $3.75 for both. Wolf Point they didn't have. Bainville they were at $4.99, but I'm guessing that was for their adult and $3.99 for the kids. So those are probably flip flops. So, I mean, I guess the way that I see it, the price of these goods is not going to lower anytime real soon. But we don't have to make it a huge increase. Like I would recommend increasing the K-5 and the 6 through 12 lunches by 10 cents, and I would just keep doing it for like the next 3-4 years. And then the same with your breakfast. I would also recommend increasing those by 10 cents as well.
I thought breakfast was free.
In some cases it is. The high school it's not,
Oh, okay.
Not at the middle school either.
or the middle school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cause that's hot breakfast, right? And
And they do different programs at the elementary levels that qualify us to get those for free. So my recommendation would be to increase the cost of the K-5 and 6-12 lunches and breakfast by 10 cents for the 26-27 school year.
Do you have a motion?
I'll move.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. David had to get on the flight.
Participation fees, we kind of went through and looked at these as well in other schools. When you look at the participation fees, they're all pretty close to what other schools are doing, at least in our area. I would like to minimally table this for the next meeting, or just leave them with where they're at. The one thing that I might do, in talking with Mr. Dennison, the one thing you're starting to see in other schools is they cap the amount families have to pay. So you have somebody that has 4 kids in 5th grade through senior year, they have to pay the same for every one of those kids. So some schools will cap it like a maximum of $200 or, and we don't have to go that low, but I do think that when you have families that have that many kids and they're struggling financially, times that we do end up paying those fees. But at the same time, it might be something that we wanna look at in changing our fee structure as well. So, I will get more information on that for the next meeting.
Can you give us the prices on the next meeting?
Yes. Yeah, we already have that created, we can just send that out to you.
I'll just share that Google.
Yeah. Okay, first reading, hopefully only reading of board policy 3612 act. So if you look on page 71, what I have highlighted in green is the change. All that's doing is referencing those board policies, so there's an AI component referenced on this form, and then the principals will add the AI, section in the handbooks. But the biggest thing with the AI is making sure that we have that referenced and there's wording on cheating, acceptable use of AI, that sort of thing. So, I'd recommend to approve the first reading of board policy 3612F with changes to take place immediately.
Do I have a motion? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. The appointment of the open trustee position. So as discussed at the March meeting, I sent out the questionnaires to all of the individuals that expressed interest in being appointed to a one-year term. So I'm gonna give you a copy of all of their responses to the questionnaires, as well as their letter of interest for you to review. And then we do have a,
On the back of your.
yeah, so if you look in your packet and go to the back of each of those, there's a page that looks like this. It's kind of like our evaluation forms. So if you could rate those, get those to Tracy, and she'll input those into a spreadsheet. And I think that that would be the best way for us to select those two people. And then that board meeting is going to be, so the appointment board meeting will be May 18th, which I believe is the day after graduation.
So what's the deadline you want these? Give us a deadline.
Like May 1st.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, but at the same time, it would be nice.
I like deadlines.
Because I can
Midnight.
reach out to the candidates and let them know, which ones received it. I've been in contact with them and kind of explained how this process was gonna go, so.
Okay.
There was only 3 of the 4 though that got the questionnaire done, and it was due today before this meeting.
Brett, can you share the people that expressed interest with us, or is that not
Yeah, we can.
shareable?
The first one is Amber Ellenberger. Second one is Aaron Fink. And no particular order, they all came in. So. The third one is Cody Schroeder. I will not Facebook stalk them for you though. You're gonna have to do that on your own. Okay, that's everything I have.
Anyone else have anything?
Did you say we needed to vote on something about the roof so that we could get the contract
No,
done?
they just need the money.
Okay,
They're waiting on bids.
okay.
We just need to see how much it's gonna cost so I can get
Okay,
the
I just-
agreements with them.
Thought you had said something about that on your email.
Since it's an emergency, we're still technically in emergency status and it's still an open insurance.
Okay.
That's like, a deal we'll just be able